Howdy y'all, Dean Satilli here from the official home of unofficial Grateful Dead and music news. Reporting on JRAD in Prospect Park, we had the high-level Nobody package. We had three winners, Buddy Carpenter, George Hargrove, and Sandy Fofay won the high-level Nobody packages. Really got to thank Peter Shapiro for that. Went above and beyond to make sure everybody had a great time. And then, as an added bonus, something that we didn't expect and that he didn't have to do, gives everybody lock-in tickets. So the winners all got lock-in tickets on top of yesterday's show, and we did it like a high-level Nobody. We watched most of the first set from just behind Marco on the stage. We got to party with legendary concert promoter Ron Delsner, 82 years old and still having a blast. That was a lot of fun. This was a good time. The high-level Nobodies were, we got to meet Marco and Dave at intermission, and this was just a strong time. A million thanks to Peter Shapiro for really just making sure that everybody had a memorable time, and really congratulations to the winners. We were rocking hard. The set gets underway. First set, band comes out, you get Bertha. Bertha, everybody's obviously, these guys, this is their home turf. They're excited, they're full of energy, their energy's infectious. They start just slamming Bertha. One of the first things you notice, they got some decibel restrictions there at Prospect Park. It was a beautiful day, a beautiful venue. You got some decibel restrictions with some folks that live there, and a lot of residential area around that venue, so you got decibel restrictions to deal with. It's not going to be super loud. At one point, I walked around through the crowd, and but there's some talking ass motherfuckers out there. It was like background music if you were anywhere from the soundboard back. The conversations, it seemed like the music was interfering with the conversations. I worked hard to find myself a piece of turf where people knew how to shut the fuck up. So that's a lesson to be learned by everybody attending concerts nowadays. If you want to talk about your fucking patio furniture and shit like that, why don't you just go to Starbucks? Because when the band's playing, we're going to need you to shut the fuck up. Thank you for your attention to that matter. Anyway, Bertha's fun. Out of Bertha, you get Throwing Stones, and this band's crazy about Throwing Stones. Seems like every time I've seen them, I've heard Throwing Stones. You get Black Peter next, which is going to bring me to my next piece of musical history, and one of my favorite Black Peters that I was in attendance for, and that still to this day I listen to often, is Las Vegas. You got Sam Boyd Stadium there in Vegas, 4/27/91, and you can search it on YouTube. There's some great video of it, and Parrish running around behind Garcia while he's playing like he's chasing mice back there, all over the place. And at one point during the end of that Peter jam, he stops. He stops. Whoa, we got some shit going on. He stops and takes notice. Heard something very special was happening. Garcia was slaying it. Listen, that Peter was black as motherfucking Bernie Mac. That one is one that you need to get your ears to. 4/27/91. Last night, JRAD, we got High Yellow Peter, maybe. It got some very quiet moments that definitely were gave you the vibe of somebody lying in their bed and dying. And it was really funny. We were listening to that from right on the side of the stage, just behind Marco, and there was a very quiet piece there that they kind of extended, and Marco was doing some soloing, but it was relatively quiet. And Ron Delsner leaned over to me and said, "Boy, this guy's really got a heavy right hand." I mean, crack me up, crack me up. Apparently, Marco, Ron Delsner wants you to work with the left hand a little bit more. It was just a quiet moment. The way he busted that out, that was just funny stuff. Just hanging with Ron Delsner. He was a blast at 82 years old. He still knows how to party. He loved the energy of the band. He loved the energy of the crowd. It was a great time. From the Black Peter, you get the 11, and that was fun. From the jams throughout the 11, you get Feel Like a Stranger, and Feel Like a Stranger was a good time. Pace is good. These guys are strong with their pace. Franklin's Tower follows Feel Like a Stranger. That was the old days before they brought back Help Slip Frank. You got that Stranger Franklin's a lot. We got accustomed to that prior to the Help on the Way and Slipknot being busted out in Hampton. The years between, we got a lot of Stranger Franklins, so there we go, we got Stranger Franklins. That was a good time. I've seen quite a bit of JRAD, and JRAD can go way out there. I mean, their jams can really go way out there. It seemed to me personally like this was a much more straightforward kind of approach to the music tonight. I didn't necessarily see those jams go as far out as they oftentimes do, but all of them sounding good nonetheless. We're having a blast. During intermission, we get to meet Marco and Dave, great guys, high-level nobodies, living the life. We get started with set 2. You get a Truckin' Jam. Truckin' Jam, you get the other one out of that. Then you get Help on the Way and Slipknot. And here we go. You know how I feel about this. You get Help on the Way and Slipknot. They already did the Franklins. So we already had the Orgasm. And now, an hour or so later, we're going to get back to Foreplay. So, I don't know about that. I don't know if it works that way anymore for older folks. But we already had the Orgasm. Now we're going to the Foreplay later in the show. The Slipknot is, excuse me, it was really like Help on the Way, Santana, Slipknot, and then In the Meantime. But the Slipknot jam was really a Santana jam. Scott Mesger killing that, just putting some Latin flavors all over the jam that came out of Help on the Way. Some strong Santana in that. As we honor him on his birthday today, Carlos, a fine man that's been part of our music scene for a long, long time. And during that Slipknot, there was definitely a tip of the hat to Carlos. Scott was killing it, as he always does. You get In the Meantime, then they drop the whole, after an extended solo by Marco, they drop the whole Terrapin Suite, which I love to hear. I would love to see maybe Dead and Company consider putting that whole suite together and doing the whole Terrapin Suite. Great job on that. I mean, we were having a good time. The encore with Walking Through the Park, and perfect for the venue, for the night. These guys, when they're playing just like some bluesy stuff like that, boy, everybody just rips it up. It was a great night in Prospect Park. We had a fine time in Brooklyn. The high-level nobodies were really treated like somebody, and we can't thank Peter Shapiro enough for really making sure that was a great night for all the winners. I wanted to pick all of you. I made sure I picked 3 people that I absolutely didn't know and had never met before. I picked, when we looked at all the different social media things, we picked one of the first commenters between YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, one of the first commenters, one of the last commenters, and then somebody that fell right in the middle. And that's how we got our winners. And a fine time we had with all of them. A great night. Many thanks to everybody that took part in that. Love you long time. Enjoy the peach if you're there. We'll see you down the road somewhere. I might just take off, not report on the damn thing until Lockin', but Lockin' is going to be a motherfucker. You're going to want to get to Lockin'. Someone wrote an article about Madison Square Garden on Halloween. I don't know about all that. Y'all might be getting punked out there. Love you long time.